Faster Tears, what's going on? What it do, man? What it do, man? What it do? It's your boy Marco coming live on the 315. I said live from the 315. Hey, hey, hey. Coming live from the 315. Coming live from the 315. Hey, hey, hey. Actually, I'm not coming from 315, but your boy from the 859. Actually, I don't even know. What would they say the air? I don't even know what the area code is for my New York number. But anyways, with all the chaos that I just provided y'all, man. Hopefully everybody's doing well. And definitely is where I'm at. It's super cold here in New York City. It's like 7 degrees, but I still got out and got my Qdoba though. Like for y'all that don't know, my favorite fast food restaurants are Qdoba and Jimmy John's, hands down. Qdoba, Jimmy John's. If I want to throw pizza in there, I gotta say Pizza Hut. But Qdoba and Jimmy John's are hands down my top two. Like, and then actually third would now be Cookout. I don't care who judged me. I don't care what nobody got to say. You can clown me. You can do whatever you need, whatever you want. Say whatever you want to. Qdoba, Jimmy John's, then Cookout. That's it. Like, bruh, and I had to go get some Qdoba today. I got that. I actually went ahead and got 2 meals because tomorrow's Super Bowl weekend. And I said, you know what? I'm probably going to maybe have a little bit of an urge to go ahead and eat out. Let me go ahead and just go ahead and let me go. Talking fast. Let me slow it down for you. Let me slow it down for the one time. Let me go ahead and get 2 meals so I ain't got to come out tomorrow. But how I like to move in my head sometimes is like, hey, we know we won't need to be eating out every day, so let me just get 1 meal today. Probably by tomorrow, I'm gonna stop thinking about it. I ain't gonna really want to eat out tomorrow. No, what's gonna happen is I'm gonna want to eat out tomorrow. Super Bowl weekend, it's chill, cold outside. Let me go ahead and get that food. Your boy does need to cut back a little bit, but that's here nor there. We went and got the Qdoba. But I don't went too long on the Qdoba rant. So if y'all ask me, Qdoba, Jimmy John's, and Cookout. But back to the main topic of discussion. For today's topic, and thank y'all for bearing with me for, again, that chaos, but it's good chaos because y'all learned a little bit about me. But for today's conversation, I wanted to talk about how what you do, your target audience isn't everybody. Everybody, let me, everybody isn't your target audience. So the more that I've created content, the more that I've talked about my life, the more that I've shared different things about me, perspectives, and just the whole 9 yards, I've realized that I have to put more emphasis on everybody not being my audience. And I won't say that like I'm not just going to say like, yeah, I realize that everybody's not my audience. You learn that early on. Like you realize early on that everybody's not going to agree with you and everything. Everybody's not going to be able to see things in a similar way. You're going to have your people that you connect with. But I've really been able to hone in on the true understanding of everybody isn't my target audience. And that's even outside of personal brands and creativity and stuff like that. It's really for my whole life. And I've realized that the more that I've continued just to put so much emphasis and time into everybody else besides me, that's where everybody becomes your target audience because then you treat a lot of people in the same type of ways, but you don't even realize how much that by removing certain things from your space, reducing how much energy that you give to certain people in areas of your life, it changes things in such a beautiful way, especially for the people that are used to giving to everyone and used to trying to find ways to appeal to everyone. But I will say that especially when it comes to content, that's helped to shape it for me in a different way because it's allowed me to be more I won't say be more appreciative, but see more value in the things that I share and realize that there's a lot of people out there that appreciate it and not having to change up in who I am and how I go about things to try to appeal to a certain audience when I start to realize that the more that I continue to show myself, the more that the people that come out that are aligned with who Demarcus is. And taking it a step further in continuing to bring things in the authentic way that I do, it allows me to weed out the ones that just ain't part of whatever I'm providing. And oftentimes when you're continuing to step in who you are and you're being willing to share that and you're also finding the courage and self esteem to do so. You don't even really even focus on trying to weed out the ones that's not, because you just allow life to do that for you anyways. You allow life to do it on its own. And I'll say, as far as even the podcast here, let's start here. The podcast has been a great thing because it allows me to share any perspective that I want without anybody's criticism or whatever, because it's talking about my life. People can be critical of the topics that I have. Somebody may dislike something that I say or whatever, but the podcast is any, I'm allowed to show up in any way that I want to, can speak in any way that I want to, can say anything. I can be whoever I want. And that's the beauty of this, because the way that I've chosen to go about my podcast is truly sharing about my life, my ideologies, thoughts, and perspectives, and it being just that. And whatever I decide to invite into this space, that's because of my doing. But sometimes, people can create content on podcasts where you're literally trying to gear towards a specific audience because you're trying to provide something. I'm not trying to provide anything here besides who I am. I'm not trying to hope that someone can buy a product, or I'm not trying to get someone to believe into a certain religion or however. I'm literally having my own walk in life and I'm learning along the way, but I'm sharing my experience in hopes that somebody else can hear the message, that it can apply to their lives and help them in some type of way. But there's nothing that I'm even looking to gain out of it from a monetary perspective, or really anything. You hope that you can help to enhance somebody else's life, at the end of the day, but still, even that hope, that's just an extension. Really, me doing this is for me. Honestly, if nobody even listened to a podcast, I wouldn't even care, because at the end of the day, like, I done got to 50 something episodes. This is about to be 50, 52 episodes. And half the time I don't even check to see what the analytics look like. Like, I may say, oh, okay, does somebody else like follow the page, or what's a topic that people were liking more than the others. But really, even for me getting to this amount of episodes, I have to go back and remember what exactly that I talked about. Um, 52 different times. But the beauty of it is that I get to share things in my light. And I know in the person that I am that it's true authenticity and real. I get a chance to be able to showcase on here the same ways that I do with people in person. And again, it's about me. And this is something that I didn't really put time into as much before, because I'll be honest, I have done a lot of things for myself, but I wasn't as strategic and I wasn't as firm in how I would do those things. So it'd be like, okay, like, you can go take yourself out to eat, you can go get a massage, or you can go, on this little trip, or whatever. But like, saying, hey, I want to be able to sit down and put out content about myself. I want to be able to share specific stories. I want to be able to hone in on a perspective that I have and just let that fly. Like, I wasn't necessarily doing that. I was maybe waiting until certain conversations happened. I was having the conversations with myself, or as we talked about earlier, as far as your audience, I may be having conversations with people in my life that I know. And oftentimes it can maybe be with some folks that, while they can be dope and cool, it wasn't meant to have that conversation with. But I'm looking for a space to share my perspective in hopes that somebody will hear me, or in hopes that I'll be able to get something off and everything will be good. What better way to do that than a podcast, where at the end of the day, somebody would actually have to listen to your perspective to give a comment, but then you're sharing parts of your life and you're sharing experiences that you've went through. I'm not sharing things where it's different. If I had an episode where I'm talking about telling people how to do something, or pushing them in a certain type of direction, but I'm literally sharing about me. And this has helped me in such a tremendous way, because my audience is only going to be people that can relate to me or find value in who DeMarcus is and what his journey is about. Other than that, if you come here to buy electronics or whatever, this ain't gonna be for you. If you came here to buy a food recipe, this ain't for you. But if you want to know about my perspectives on tech as a nerd, and if you want to know about how I cook, or how I got into cooking and how I do share recipes on my page, then you can go through this to find that. But at the end of the day, you're still learning about me, and then anything else is an extension. So this has also helped me with my keloid content. Like, here recently, I've had a couple people reach out to me having questions about keloids, commending me for my progress, and just sharing their appreciation just for finding a page like mine. And I'm just over here like, wow, like I'm not even. It's still not even much of a thought in like, wow, people's really like reached out to me. I'm just kind of just like, hey, I'm just posting my content. But the dope piece is that once I got into a space of just putting it out there and doing what I already do on a higher scale, I'm someone that has talked about my flaws and insecurities and things like that, but doing it in a way to where I could show people that there's something to look forward to, and that takes the message on a whole other level, and you realize that's one of your purposes. I'm already doing my daily thoughts. I already have these thought provoking conversations. I talk about things organically. And I was already posting different things about my acne content and keloids. So I'm like, let me go ahead and switch it up in a different way. For the longest on Instagram, I'm like, Instagram's changed. You know, the thing was you only have a couple pictures on your page. Now you see where some pages people have hella reels and videos and almost feels like they're doing too much. But I say, you know what? Like I ain't got to go crazy with it, but also there's probably a part of me holding myself back because I'm trying to go about it in the same way in which the algorithm's trying to play into. I say, you know what? Like and ChatGPT was giving me some good pointers on as far as posting my content. I said, you know what? Let's go ahead and put it out there. I don't have a huge page like a celebrity, big time celebrity does, where they can post a few pictures and they're still going to be able to reel in the audience. No, I got to hit people from all different angles. So that means posting my Freestyle Fridays, keeping it on my page, then posting a keloid video or picture and leaving it just as a post, and posting my food. Because if I can hit people from different angles, they're going to figure out who is the Marcus. They're going to be able to learn how they can be a fan of my work or whatever. But when you're already a celebrity or you already have a big platform, people already know you for that thing. So really their struggle is like more so finding people to know you for something different than that main thing. My thing is more so just show them off my different lanes and giving people different ways to get to know me and to um, be a part of my brands, which I love because you know how hard it is for, and I can only imagine on even higher levels, but for people just to look at you or just associate you with just one lane when there's so much more about you. And you could have all these different perspectives, all these different things that you want to share, but when people just look at you for that, damn, that just what happens when your time's up for that, or what happens when you want to change your career or whatever? Like if that's all you're known for, then it's just like you're always going to be associated with that. But what if the thing that actually even makes you happy has nothing to do with that, and that's all you want to talk about? So that's why like content, even when it comes to music, I do freestyles. Like I can dance, a little bit. I can go to the gym. All that is a part of my story, and that's why as I continue to share who I am, I see more of who my audience is. There's times where I can be vulgar in some things that I'll say. And I'm like, man, I'll be in my head like, man, I'm a very commendable dude and stuff like that. Man, it may turn somebody away, but then I have to be like, I don't give a fuck. Because if somebody it's different if I'm sitting here just being um, um, exploitative, if I'm sitting here just being reckless in how I move or however. But if I'm telling stories, if I'm just sharing certain things in life, and because I use a few words or have a certain type of perspective, if people leave because of that, they ain't a part of my audience anyways. If somebody wants to disassociate with me with being very spiritual or being truly locked in with God because I have a conversation about sex or I may like a reel or repost something that might seem a little wild, knowing damn well that this person over here that claims that they're very spiritual really be thinking like that, probably even more crazy, maybe even love being on Twitter because it hides the likes now. They could be liking all that type of content because I say it or I express it in a way where it can be visible, then I could be looked at as crazy. That ain't my type of audience because this is showing that I'm not afraid to be myself. Now, again, everything don't got to be plastered to each and every person, but I've had to realize, especially from an overthinking perspective, a lot of things are not harmless, especially when you ain't doing them in no crazy type of way. And a lot of things that I do, I had to realize like I'm over here putting so much pressure on myself or feeling as if this is going to go in this way or that way because of me not wanting to get the same type of criticism as someone else when it's like, DeMarcus, you don't even do it on that type. You don't even do it anywhere close to that type of level. And each and every time when I just allow myself just to be, and then I reserve things and spaces that need to be reserved, I come out on top every single time because I realize I've sit there and put so much pressure on myself. And this is in a sense going against God because I put so much pressure on myself in trying to understand or trying to protect me from what could happen or protect me from being seen in a certain type of way, that it's almost like me trying to predetermine an outcome or trying to like prepare myself for what could happen. That's not right. Because at the end of the day, I'm creating anxiety. I'm creating all these things in my head that can stop the moment from actually happening. Then many times when that situation don't even happen in the way in which I thought or said, I'm over here like, man, I just gave this so much energy. So imagine doing that, but then also giving so much energy to other people, people that don't deserve it, spaces or communities that just it don't even make sense to give it to. So you done did all this overthinking, you done created anxiety you don't even have, but now you have it in this moment. You know, sit there and gave all your energy to people. So that's 75%, and you only can give yourself 25%. By the time you give yourself that 25%, you've done clogged your mind so much that now you don't even know where to start. You ain't finishing nothing because everything's all over the place. So I say all that and I bring this long perspective of looking at things to say, when you find your target audiences and when you continue to be able to share, when you continue to share your story, and when you speak from a perspective of being authentic, of being real about the good and the bad, or the positive, the negative, or the ups and the downs, you allow people that truly want to level themselves up or that have similar type of interest, taste, or that move in a similar type of way, you're allowing them to come in with ease. You're not pushing them away. Because at the end of the day, there could be somebody that's way more successful at life than I am, and at a way more successful point in whatever their journey is. But they could be looking for somebody like me because they want to be like, I want to be able to express myself. And in doing that, then it allows me to be able to learn from them and how I can be more successful in my own life. There's a trade off there. But if I'm sitting here just focused on trying to get my message out to everybody or whatever, or trying to hold back certain things because of how this is going to make this person feel, that person feel, I'm never going to win for myself because I'm never going to win in anybody else's eyes. I'm in a community with my guy, Coach Drew, and it's more so I would say like a Christian based community. There's different type of topics we can discuss in there, but it's more so of an older crowd and there's more women in there. But then I had a woman that was like, "Hey, Demarcus, I really like your podcast, your perspectives, and things that you share." And I don't have anything that like degrades women or nothing like that. But especially for the topics that I talk about from a man's perspective and certain things like that, it just may not be necessarily of interest to certain women. But I do have a lot of women that enjoy my content because they like my perspectives and being able to see how a man is leveling up and continuing um, to evolve in his masculinity. But some spaces might not want that. Some spaces may not see it like that. Some spaces where it's less vulgar. If you have a couple cuss words, that may turn a few people away. But the point of it is to say that I don't care and I can't worry about or care about that, because the more that I do, it's stopping me from being able to reel in the people that are truly aligned with me, and it's not going to allow me to be able to create the message in the most dope way, the most responsible, the most authentic way. And again, the thing that I've even realized for myself is by working on, and this is a huge work in progress for me, by working on getting out of my head so much when it comes to how I want to present things, it's allowed me to see that over time, there's so many people that wish that they can do things in the way that I do because of them wanting to be themselves, but they get held back because of the spaces that they're in. I'm not saying so many like a ton of different people, but I've come across a lot of people that say, Demarcus, I wish I could move like that, or I wish that I could be able to speak about things in a certain type of way. You absolutely can. Nobody's stopping you. You're only stopping you. But what happens a lot of times is you're getting so focused on the people that you're around, and really you're scared to release those 20 to 25-year friendships, those 10 to 15-year friendships. You're afraid to lose people that you thought would really align with you when you know that they're not, and you feel as if you move in a certain type of direction, it's going to be more uncomfortable for you to be by yourself than actually keep those people. You're more comfortable with being by yourself than actually keeping those folks. And keeping those folks is not going to make sense for you. But you got to get out of that. And you have to realize that at a certain point, if you want to evolve in a certain type of way, if you want your life to shape up in a certain type of way, there may be things that you have to remove or things that you got to adjust to be your best self. When you can constantly feel it, you can constantly sense it, when you can taste it, there's something in the spirit that's telling you that you got to move in a different type of way. But also, what I've learned and what I've been the most appreciative of is that in me continuing to show up and evolve in who Demarcus is, the real ones that's locked in with me, the people that truly appreciate me, that truly appreciate me, they've evolved with me in every scenario. And even things we may have disagreed or they may have not aligned, they align with who Demarcus was as an individual. They may say, "Hey, Demarcus, I don't agree with that. I don't really think that that's the best way to go about it, but you're growing. I'm growing with you." But the ones that just always got this criticism, and then that's just anytime you share ideas, it's just always this perspective of you should do something a different way, thinking about it a different way. That's their limitations coming on you. I ain't got time for that because there's too many times where no matter what somebody had going, or no matter what somebody's thought process was with a certain type of career they wanted to go into, an idea, whatever, I supported each and every one of them. I'm not gonna steer somebody's idea away from them because that's your thought process. That's you saying there's something that I envision. There's something based on my life experiences. There's something based on conversations that I've had that's got me to this point that this can be an idea. If it's completely crazy, as I said in the previous podcast, cool. I'm gonna be like, nah, this ain't the move. But if it's something to where based on how you see the world and it's applicable to you, run with it. Because I know that's what I've had to do for my own life. So I'm gonna keep this one short because I know for a fact I can go on and go on and on and on and on. But I think this is a good stopping point. So for this episode, it's just talking about as you continue to level up and evolve, you start to find more of your target audience and find people that align with you in different type of ways. And I've been able to learn that recently a lot from my keloid content, just from leveling up in my life when it comes to um, um, weight loss and focusing and just getting my mind more free and yeah, just different things I've had to experience within this season. So um, yeah, if you're someone that's going through that as well, feel free to share your perspective. Love to be able to get comments from people. Love being able to get messages, and it's about really being authentic. This space is to show people that like be who you are and want to be, but be who you feel that you're destined to be. Like if you someone that for you to provide criticism to somebody else, you more so somebody that cusses. Cool, do that. Don't get to a point where you got to disrespect somebody, but like you may have to get in somebody's ass. If you're someone that can get through without having to do that, and you can get the same message across, that don't mean that you are better than the person that just curses. That person just may have went through certain life things, and you went through certain life things. At the end of the day, I look at life as it's a way for you to continue to evolve and grow. But as you continue to be able to live and share your story, you're helping somebody along the way. You're learning your purpose along the way. There's no this is the right way to do this thing or that thing, and there's no like, hey, because I don't do this and you do, that I'm better than you know. Because there's going to be so many nuanced things that you and I do that's going to be different. That I get a better result because of me not doing something that you do, and you getting a better result because you do something that I don't. But you have to continue to move forward and allow yourself to align in a way that as I'm going on my journey, that's my journey. And if I can continue to align myself with the authenticity and who I truly am, I've got to continue to believe and continue to have that positivity, that excitement in myself to say, you know what, God's going to align people with me that's on a similar path or they're just like me. Whether that's for a season, whether that's long term or however. But because I'm continuing to believe in myself and continuing to bet on myself along the way, I gotta trust that He's gonna bring that around to me. I gotta trust that the universe is going to continue to present opportunities where I can continue to allow that version of myself. Because oftentimes too, as we're continuing to evolve, we got to step out of our comfort zones. We got to say, you know what, this is something different. Hey, Demarcus, typically you would go about posting your content in this type of way. Try this over here. I ain't really getting no that followers like that. I'm getting some likes on TikTok, but I ain't really getting followers like that. If I can continue to be able to spread my message and do it the right way, at the end of the day, I'm gonna continue to have such dope content that people that just follow me a year later, they got to go back to all this other stuff that they missed. And at that point, hey, I ain't got to keep answering the same questions because I have enough content there where somebody can go listen to, and then I can continue to tell the parts of my story that are happening in at the moments later down the line. So it's your boy Demarcus, man. This is Life of a Multifaceted. If you haven't yet, make sure you follow me on Instagram. Personal page is that man Marco. My food page is Mashing Up with Marco. Both of those are also on TikTok. And then my YouTube is the Multifacets of Demarcus. And of course, this is the Life of a Multifacet. And if you want to be a faceteer, just call yourself one. Like a faceteer is someone that has many facets and there's tiers to it. You can be a low level facilitator, which is not saying like you're lower than somebody else. Is saying, you know what, I do a few different things. I got a few different skills. Mid tier is saying, you know, I got a lot of things that I enjoy. High tier is just saying like I got so many different pieces of me that I don't like just staying in one bucket. Like none of them are actually better than the other. It just depends on the person. But the whole premise of this is saying that everybody is multifaceted. And so you decide your tier, but at the end of the day, there's nothing better than being a faceteer and a multifaceted. So it's your boy Demarcus. This is the life of a multifaceted, and we up out of here. Peace.